Welcome in here to another Elmira Pioneers live stream. After a couple days off and a disappointing split in Newark on Sunday, the Pioneers have traveled back home to historic Dunn Field to take on the Pilots for the last 4 games of the regular season for the Pioneers of this PGCBL 2023 season. The playoffs are rapidly approaching. At the end of this week, the regular season will be over, and the playoffs will begin starting July 30th to the 31st. I don't have the exact dates yet of when the playoffs would exactly be starting, especially for the Pioneers. A lot of stuff still up in the air and a lot of stuff to play for tonight. And now, as we take a look at the standings real quick, you can see the Elmira Pioneers are only half a game behind the Batavia Muck Dogs for the #1 spot in the PGCBL West Division standings. Pioneers with a win today and a Batavia loss to Niagara tonight, then the Pioneers would jump Batavia for the #1 spot and the #1 seed overall and get that home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which would obviously be massive. And obviously, Niagara has quite a lot to play for as they're sitting on the outside looking in, trying to re-jump Auburn, who is, I don't think, playing tonight, actually. I think they have the night off. Jamestown is playing, and the stakes tonight are that if Geneva splits, because Jamestown and Geneva have a doubleheader tonight, if Geneva splits with Jamestown, and if even Geneva gets one win and the Pioneers win tonight, they will lock up the #2 seed for the playoffs, at least. They will be guaranteed home field advantage for at least one game. Obviously, depending on what happens with Batavia, they could lock it up for the entire playoffs down the stretch. So a lot of playoff implications tonight. Pioneers are looking to seek revenge after splitting with these same Pilots on Sunday in a disappointing doubleheader. They were looking to really sweep the Pilots on Sunday. They ultimately ended up splitting with them. And so now they find themselves in the situation that they're in. They're back here, though, trying to get another win and get some help from Niagara and Geneva in order to lock up not only just the #2 seed, but also trying to get back to the top of the standings. And so now, as the Pioneers are about to get ready to get going here in this one, I'm going to quickly go through the Elmira starting lineup. Leading off, it'll be number 33, Kevin Noss, the center fielder. Batting second, it'll be number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman. Batting third, it'll be number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Batting fourth, it'll be number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder. Batting fifth, it'll be number 4, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Batting sixth, it'll be number 14, Jake Keller, the first baseman. Batting seventh, it'll be number 2, Dom Presto, the shortstop. Batting eighth, it'll be number 40, Nick Montagna, the extra hitter. Batting ninth, it'll be number 42, Spencer Aubin, the left fielder. And batting 10th, it'll be number 88, Joseph Kelson, the designated hitter tonight. A unique start for Kelson. Kelson, I don't think, hasn't gotten a start as a hitter without him also pitching in the game. We saw him do a Shohei Ohtani role not too long ago. But Kelson getting the DH tonight, getting an opportunity to showcase his skills with the bat. And, of course, on the mound tonight for the Pioneers starting, it'll be number 25, Griffin Yastrzemski, who will be getting the start tonight for the Pioneers against these Pilots. And this is a big game. Like I said, a lot of playoff implications can happen depending on what happens around the league. I'll be updating you guys throughout this stream with scores throughout and around the PGCBL. So actually, an update. It's the bottom of the fourth in Game 1 of the Jamestown and Geneva doubleheader. Jamestown leads a 4-1 over Geneva in the bottom of the fourth of Game 1 of that doubleheader. But in the Batavia game, top of the second inning, Niagara leads it 1-0 over Batavia, which is big because now if the Pioneers win and the Power win over Batavia, then the Pioneers would jump the Muck Dogs for the #1 spot in the West Division standings. So that is definitely a scoreline I'm going to be keeping my eye on throughout the game, and I'll be updating you guys throughout this live stream. And so, of course, with a Geneva split and a Pioneers win, they can lock up the #2 seed, effectively banishing Jamestown to that #3 spot, meaning that they will have to go on the road no matter what. And so, obviously, that is what the Pioneers are looking to do tonight. And so now I'm going to go through the Newark starting lineup. Leading off, it'll be number 25, Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder. Batting second, it'll be number 2, Paulie Goodness, the right fielder. Batting third, it'll be number 10, Justin DiMartino, the left fielder. Batting fourth, it'll be number 7, Jack Arcamone, the designated hitter. Batting fifth, it'll be number 9, Gage Bowman, the catcher. Batting sixth, it'll be number 24, Chris Ferrara, the first baseman. Batting seventh, it'll be number 29, Nick Payne, the third baseman. Batting eighth, It'll be number 20, Michael Flaherty. The shortstop batting ninth, it'll be number 12, Briggs Loveland, the second baseman. And batting 10th, it'll be number 21, Tyler Walters, the extra hitter. And on the mound tonight for the Pilots, it'll be number 13, Angelo Deere, who will be getting the start tonight for the Pilots. So that's a bit of an interesting storyline. Deere, we have not faced Deere so far. The Pioneers have not faced him so far throughout. This is now the 7th meeting between the Pioneers and the Pilots, and not a single time Angelo Deere has thrown against the Pioneers. So a new face, and it'll be interesting to see how the Pioneers do against Deere. Of course, they'll be looking to try and get some hits and get on base to run up the scores as much as possible. That's the goal. No more double headers for the Pioneers, which is, of course, really, really nice as we take a quick look at the upcoming schedule. Only 3 games left in the regular season for the Pioneers after tonight. They'll be on the road tomorrow on the 27th at Auburn tomorrow. And then they'll be back home for the last home game here at Dunn Field during the regular season on the 28th versus Newark, which is bring pet food, get in free night. And then on the 29th, to finish out the regular season, they'll be back on the road at Auburn to Falcon Park to finish it out. And so a stretch of games back and forth seesawing between road and home to finish out this regular season for the Pioneers. The Pioneers have already broken their win total from last year. They were 24-21 last year. They are currently sitting at 25-15-1. And so they've already beaten their record from last year. Now everything else that they get is just a cherry on top right now. And the Pioneers, as you can see, will be wearing their home reds with white pants and red caps. Newark in their road blues with their blue caps and gray pants. No more red on red games, luckily, as both of the matches against Auburn are on the road. So don't have to deal with any more of those red on red games. Of course, unless it would happen to be a playoff game. That is a possibility because Auburn currently is in the playoff picture as they are the number 4 seed. So if the Pioneers were to get the number 1 seed over Batavia, they would have to play Auburn. It would be here at Dunn Field. And then, of course, if the Pioneers get the 2 seed, then they would be also playing here at Dunn Field. But they would be playing Jamestown, who's currently the 3 seed. That is, of course, if the season were to end tonight. It is not. There's still a lot more well, not too many more games to go. There's only 3 left, but still some games to go and still a lot to be decided. And so we'll have to wait and find out what's going to happen, and it could come down to the very last day to decide who gets the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the West Division. We'll have to wait and find out. Of course, Pioneers just looking to continue to get some wins, and now as we're about ready to get set here for the national anthem, I'm going to take a quick step away. Very nice rendition national anthem, as this one is about ready to get going here. You can see, or you're about to see, number 25, Griffin Yastrzemski start to warm up here now to face the Pilots. Yastrzemski, looking at his stats real quick, he is making his 6th start. He also has 1 appearance so far this season. He has a 5.61 ERA in 25.2 innings pitched. He's given up 27 hits, 22 runs, 16 of those earned, 11 walks, and has 22 strikeouts so far this season. A 1-2 record in terms of wins and losses. Last time we saw him pitch was on the 17th versus Geneva, where he pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 8 hits, and had 6 strikeouts in that one. Pioneers really looking for just Yastrzemski to try and throw strikes and get through innings as cleanly as possible. His last couple starts have been a little bit shaky. However, Yastrzemski, I have faith that he can get through this game, hopefully pretty cleanly. There's a lot riding on this game, and of course, like I said, I'll be keeping my eye out around the PGCBL and keep you guys updated on what's happening with the Jamestown games and with the Niagara-Batavia games. Both of those are big storylines for the Pioneers tonight. Pioneers were the 4 seed last year going into the playoffs. They were knocked out by Batavia in the first round when they had to go to Batavia. Batavia was the 1 seed last year. So Pioneers had to go up to Batavia, play them in the first round. They lost. And the Pioneers, honestly, I would love to see the Pioneers get the 1 seed just so that they don't have to go to Batavia. They have not had the best outings in Batavia, and so I really think the Pioneers are much better as a home team than what they are a road team. So if they can get home field advantage throughout the playoffs for at least the West Division playoffs, that'd be massive. And like I said, they're 14-5 at home. They're 11-9-1 on the road. So clearly a much better home team. So if they can get home field advantage, that would be massive. Of course, last time we saw these two teams, the Pilots and the Pioneers, face each other, it was the doubleheader on Sunday. Newark took game 1 in dramatic fashion, 12-11 in extras. And that was a very tough loss for the Pioneers. However, they rallied back in game 2, able to get the win 6-1 at Newark. And a dominating win they're coming off of. And, of course, 2 days rest, which was massive for the Pioneers. They had barely any pitching left on the roster that was available. And so it was really good for the Pioneers to get some rest days and to be able to recoup their pitching. So far this season, the Pioneers in the season series, it's been lopsided towards the Pioneers. Pioneers are 5-1 against the Pilots so far this season. Of course, that only loss coming on Sunday in game 1 of that doubleheader. And so the Pioneers looking to go 6-1 in the season series against Newark. And of course, move their win streak to 2 games. And to try and lock up at least the number 2 seed tonight, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Jamestown and Geneva. And then try and maybe even move into the 1 seed, depending on what happens with Niagara and Batavia. Of course, the Pioneers had a pretty good off day last night as Niagara ended up beating Batavia last night. And so we're hoping for the same result tonight here to help out the Pioneers a little bit. And so Yastrzemski, I do believe I have his arsenal. One moment. No, I actually do not. But Yastrzemski, I'm assuming something similar to most other pitchers. Probably fastball, curveball, changeup, and then probably either slider or splitter if I had to take a guess. And Yastrzemski looks like he's about warmed up here. So leading off, it'll be number 25, Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder for the Pilots here. DiMartino, so far this season, has a .226 batting average and 25 starts. 8 runs, 19 hits, 2 doubles, 3 triples, 1 homer, 10 RBIs, 8 walks, and 19 strikeouts so far this season. As he'll step in here to face Yastrzemski. And as this one is moments away from getting underway, as DiMartino will now step in. Yastrzemski now will set, deliver, swung on it, popped up on the first pitch, and Keller will be coming under it. And he will make the play, and that is 1 away on the first pitch from Yastrzemski. So 1 out here in the top of the first on a pop out by Frankie DiMartino. And now that'll bring on over to Paulie Goodness, the right fielder. Goodness, a very familiar name. We've seen him a bunch of times, especially on the doubleheader on Sunday, as a .208 batting average, as Yastrzemski will set deal. That one just outside for ball 1 and a fastball. So 1-0 the count to Goodness here. Goodness, .208 batting average to 15 starts, 8 runs, 19 hits, as that one is upstairs for ball 2. So 2-0 the count to Goodness here. Goodness, 1 triple, 10 RBIs, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts so far this season. 1-0 the count, 1 out here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski now will set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1 on a fastball right down Broadway. So 2-1 the count now to Goodness. 1 out here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski 2-1. Will now set deal. That is a swing and a miss by Goodness, and the count will even up now 2-2. Yastrzemski looking for his first strikeout here to put 2 outs on the board in the top of the first. Shakes off 2 pitches, and now will nod. Yastrzemski 2-2 will set deal. That is down low and outside for ball 3. And that was a high velocity fastball. Down low and away. So the count goes full now to Goodness. 3-2. 1 out here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski full count. Big pitch. Will now set deal. Swing and a miss by Goodness. He struck him out. That's the first strikeout for Griffin Yastrzemski, and that will put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the first inning. And now that'll bring up number 10, Justin DiMartino, the left fielder. DiMartino playing with his brother tonight in the outfield. Both DiMartino brothers. Frankie DiMartino is in center. Justin is in left. And that one is just inside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Justin DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski now will set deal. That is down low and away for ball 2. So 2-0 the count now to DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski 2-0. Will now set deal. Swung on a pop back foul. That is out of play, right field side. So the count will even up now 2-1. Or it won't even up. It just goes 2-1 here. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski 2-1 will set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 2 on a curveball. So the count will now even up at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski now 2-2 will set deal. That is upstairs, and that hit Justin DiMartino. So that is a hit by pitch. So Justin will take his walk over to first. And now that'll bring on number 7, Jack Arcamone, the designated hitter. He has the leading batting average on the team, .333 in 24 starts, 15 runs, 28 hits, 4 doubles, 2 triples, 1 homer, 15 RBIs, 11 walks, and 16 strikeouts so far this season for the Pilots. It seems like the scoreboard isn't working here in Elmira, but I'm keeping score anyway. So Justin DiMartino off first, Arcamone, as Yastrzemski will set deal. That is upstairs and outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Arcamone. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Justin DiMartino off of first. Yastrzemski now 1-0. Will now set deal. That is upstairs for ball 2. So 2-0 the count to Arcamone. 2 outs here in the top of the first. As Arcamone will re-step in here to the batter's box. Yastrzemski shakes off 1 pitch and now looks over to Justin DiMartino. Yastrzemski 2-0 will set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. That was a little bit upstairs and inside, but he gets the call. So 2-1 the count now to Arcamone. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski 2-1 will now set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 2 and a fastball right down Broadway. So the count will now even up once again to deuces wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Justin DiMartino off of first. Yastrzemski looking for his second strikeout to end the top of the first. Will now set deal. That one is just outside for ball 3. He was trying to get Arcamone to chase that pitch low and away. Arcamone didn't go for it. So 3-2 the count now as it fills up to Arcamone here. Big pitch for Yastrzemski, trying not to give up a walk and to end the top of the first inning. Yastrzemski 3-2 the count will now set deal. That one is just outside for ball 4. Arcamone hesitated as if he wanted to swing at it. He did not. And so that'll be a walk for Jack Arcamone as he will go over to first. And now that'll bring on number 9, Gage Boatman, the catcher. Boatman, a .250 batting average in 19 starts, 10 runs, 16 hits, 10 RBIs, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts so far this season. Still 2 outs here in the top of the first as Boatman will step in, but runners on first and second now for the Pilots. It is DiMartino off second, Arcamone off first. Yastrzemski looks over to DiMartino, and now a set deal. That one is upstairs for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Boatman. 2 outs here still in the top of the first. Any out ends the inning for Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski 1-0. Well, now set, deal. That one is down low and inside for ball 2. So 2-0 the count now to Boatman. 2 outs here in the top of the first, and John Schroeder wants to have a word with Griffin Yastrzemski. And so Schroeder and Yastrzemski are going to be talking it over here. It'll be a 2-0 count to Boatman with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Still Arcamon on first, DiMartino on second. Yastrzemski 2-0. We'll look over to DiMartino. And now we'll set, deal, swing, a check swing. That is going to be called strike 1. So 2-1 the count now to Boatman. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski 2-1. Well, now set, deal. That is check swing. Are they going to say he went? They are not going to give it to him. So that is going to be ball 3. So 3-1 the count now to Boatman. Yastrzemski needs to strike here to get back in the count in order to avoid loading the bases for the Pilots with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Yastrzemski 3-1. We'll look over to DiMartino now. Set, deal, swung on it, popped up. That is right field side. Keller going for it in foul territory. And he will miss it. He just ran out of room up against the fence. And so the count will go 3-2. It was not a base hit. That was a foul ball. Keller tried to get the out to get Yastrzemski out of the inning, but unfortunately he just couldn't quite catch it. So 3-2 the count out of Boatman. 2 outs here in the top of the first. And now Boatman will step back in here. Yastrzemski looking for his second strikeout to end the top of the first inning. Yastrzemski 3-2 will now set, deal, swung on it, fouled off. That is right field side and out of play. So the count will stay 3-2 to Boatman. 2 outs here in the top of the first. This is still a massive pitch coming up for Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski 3-2. We'll now look over to DiMartino. We'll now set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike 3. He struck him out. That is the second strikeout for Griffin Yastrzemski. That will end the top of the first inning. No runs for the Pilots in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first, and still a 0-0 ball game right after this. Welcome back to the Pioneers live stream here. It's the bottom of the first inning in a still 0-0 ball game between the Pioneers and the Pilots. It'll be Angelo Deere, number 13, on the mound here for the Pilots. So far, he has a 6.14 ERA and a 2-3 record in 7 starts. He's thrown 29.1 innings pitched. He's given up 44 hits, 22 runs, 20 of those earned, 9 walks, and it only has 15 strikeouts so far this season. And leading off for the Pioneers here in the bottom of the first, it'll be number 33, Kevin Noss, the center fielder. Noss, again, the leadoff role since Matt Granado is no longer available. Noss will be leading off here in the bottom of the first as Deere is finishing warming up here. Looking at Noss's stats real quick. He's making his 20th start as a 234 batting average, 8 runs, 11 hits, 5 RBIs, 8 walks, 15 strikeouts, and 5 stolen bases so far this season. He's a 5'10", 190-pound sophomore outfielder from Montgomery College in his hometown of Miami, Florida. Last time we saw Noss was on Sunday at Newark the 23rd, where he had 1 hit and 2 strikeouts in that one. So he'll be leading off here against Deer, trying to get the Pioneers on base early in this one. Noss always recognizable with that very distinct batting helmet, black helmet with that white cream trim. So now he will step into the batter's box here to face Deer. Deer now. Well, now set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1 on a fastball. So 0-1 the count now to Noss. No outs here in the bottom of the first. Deer 0-1. Well, now set, deal. That is swung on and chopped foul. That is left field side. So the count will go 0-2 now. 0-2 the count to Noss. No outs here in the bottom of the first. Deer will look in again. Shake off 1 pitch. 0-2. And now he will set, deal. That is in there. Call strike 3. That is a strikeout for Angelo Deer. And that will put 1 out on the board here in the bottom of the first as Noss goes down looking. And now that'll bring up number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman. Muzio looking into his stats. He's making his 29th start, has a 233 batting average, 12 runs, 21 hits, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 12 RBIs, 14 walks, 25 strikeouts, and 10 stolen bases so far this season for the Pioneers. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Deer now. Will set, deal, swung on a driven. That is just foul down the first base line. First baseman lunged for it. However, he came up empty. That was about a foot right of the first base foul line. So 0-1 the count now to Muzio. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. It was Ferrara lunging for it. Deer will set, deal. That is inside for ball 1. So the count will now even up at aces wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Deer 1-1. Will now set, fire. That is upstairs and outside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Muzio as he will take the lead. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Muzio trying to get on to get the Pioneers a base runner here. Deer 2-1. Will now set, deliver. That is in there. Called strike 2, just caught the outside edge of the plate. Crowd does not like the call. So 2-2 the count now to Muzio as the count will even up. 1 out here still in the bottom of the first. Deer shakes off 1 pitch. And now we'll set, deal. That is outside, ball 3. So 3-2 the count now. It goes full to Muzio. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And let's go Joe Chance. Already going here at Dunn. Deer 3-2, big pitch. Will now set, deliver, swung on a crush. That is just foul down the first baseline again. Just foul by about 2 feet this time, right at that first base line. That looked fair until it got just past the infield dirt. Once it got into the outfield, it just hooked. So still 3-2. Deer now will set, deliver. That is outside, ball 4. That is a very good at-bat there by Muzio, and that will allow him to get a walk and go on first for the Pioneers. So runner on first with 1 out here in the bottom of the first, and now that'll bring up number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Schroeder has making his 38th start, I should say. 330 batting average, 22 runs, 37 hits, 6 doubles, 7 triples, which is a team record. 1 home run, 24 RBIs, 25 walks, 20 strikeouts, and 11 stolen bases for Schroeder so far this season. He has been one of the Pioneers' best bats. Deer will set, deliver. That is down low for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Schroeder. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Muzio off of first for the Pioneers. Schroeder will step back in. Deere leans in. 1-0. And now he will set deal. Swung on a pop back. That is left field side and over our heads. So the count will now even up. Aces wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here to Schroeder in the bottom of the first. And the first game of the doubleheader between Jamestown and Geneva just went final. Jamestown won it 8-3, and Batavia in the top of the third has tied up the ball game 1-1 against Niagara. So we're hoping for Niagara win and a Geneva win in game 2 of that doubleheader. That is down low and inside for ball 2 to Schroeder. So 2-1 the count now to Schroeder. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Muzio still over there at first for the Pioneers. Deere 2-1 will lean in. Deere will now set deliver. That is upstairs and inside ball 3. So 3-1 the count now to Schroeder. Deere in danger of giving up back-to-back walks here with only 1 out in the bottom of the first. Schroeder last time out on Sunday had 2 triples in back-to-back at-bats. Deere will set deal. That is down low and inside. They're going to call that a strike. Are you kidding me? The umpire calls it back. Schroeder, the umpire waited about 10 seconds, and he finally called that strike too. Are you kidding me? Schroeder will have to come back as he was already halfway down the base path when the umpire finally decided that that was a strike. That did not look like a strike at all from up here. But Schroeder will have to battle it back here as the count will go full here, and he has to come back. So 3-2 the count. Deere now. We'll now check over to Muzio at first. Muzio is safe at first. Got back in time, lunged back. Still 3-2 the count to Schroeder. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Deere 3-2. Well, now set deal. Swung on it. Chopped into left. That's a blooper single. Left fielder coming for it. And he will not make the play, but it is foul. So everyone's going to have to come back as it was foul of the third base line. And so the count will stay 3-2 to Schroeder. Still 1 out here in the bottom of the first. There was a blooper down the third base line that turned foul once it got past the infield dirt once again. So 3-2 the count still to Schroeder. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Muzio off of first for the Pioneers. Schroeder will step back in. Deere 3-2. Well, now set deal. That one is outside and upstairs. Ball 4. So this time, umpire does not give a late strike. So that will be a walk for John Schroeder to put runners on first and second here with only 1 out in the bottom of the first. And now that'll bring up number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder. Smith making his 28th start as a .301 batting average, 13 runs, 25 hits, 6 doubles, 2 triples, 13 RBIs, 10 walks, 11 strikeouts, and 12 stolen bases so far this season. As he'll step in here, he's been very clutch for the Pioneers in the past with getting some base hits to drive in runs. He could potentially do it again here with 1 out in the bottom of the first and Muzio on second, Schroeder on first. Deere now will set deliver. That is upstairs and outside for ball 1. And that one is a throw to first to try and get Schroeder. And the runners will advance. And so now runners on second and third on that bad throw by Boatman. That went over the first baseman Ferrara's head. He was trying to get Schroeder out at first on a pickoff attempt. But it went over Ferrara's head, and that allowed both Schroeder and Muzio to advance. So Muzio on third, Schroeder on second. 0-1 the count to Smith as that was a called strike 1. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And now, if Smith gets a base hit here, it could potentially drive in 2 runs with Schroeder at second now. Deere 0-1 will set deal. That is way inside for ball 1. That almost hit Smith. So the count will now even up to aces wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Smith will step back in. Deere 1-1 with runners on second and third for the Pioneers. He will now set deal. Swung on a pop back that just came off the bottom of Smith's bat. So the count will go 1-2 now to Cooper Smith. One out here in the bottom of the first still. Still runners on second and third. Musio over there at third. Schroeder at second. It'll still be Bear up after Cooper Smith, since there's only one out. Deer 1 and 2. Well, now set, delivers, swung on a pop. That is a blooper in the left. That's a base hit. That'll score 1 run, and that will score 2 runs. As the throw was out of time, an RBI single by Cooper Smith will put 2 runs on the boards for the Pioneers here. Just a blooper off the end of Smith's bat that went over the shortstop Flaherty's head and into left field. And that'll be an RBI single. And now that'll bring on number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Bear making his 16th start as a .333 batting average, 5 runs, 15 hits, 2 doubles, 10 RBIs, 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases so far this season. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Deer will set deal that is down low for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Bear. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. A 2-0 Pioneers lead thanks to an RBI single from Cooper Smith, who is currently at first base for the Pioneers. Deer 1-0. Well, now set deal. Smith is going to try and steal second, and he will steal second as the throw was behind the second baseman, Loveland. And so the count will go 2-0 to Bears. That was a ball down low. 1 out here in the bottom of the first, and Cooper Smith with another runner in scoring position at second base. Deer now 2-0. We'll look over to Smith. Smith dancing around. Deer will set and deliver. That is called strike 1. That is so hard to say. 2-1 the count to Bear. 1 out here in the bottom of the first still. Cooper Smith off of second for the Pioneers. Deer now 2-1. Will set, fire, swung on and pop, foul. That is right field side out of play. So the count will now even up at 2-2 now to Bear. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Now as the umpire's getting new baseballs from clubhouse manager Ben, a bit of a delay here. But Deer will step back on the mound here. Still 2-2 the count to Bear. Cooper Smith off second for the Pioneers. Deer looks that way. And now we'll set, fire. Smith is going to try and steal third, and he will steal third as that was a ball way inside. And I don't think even Boatman saw him. So Smith is at third now. And a full count to Bear, 3-2. 3-2 the count to Bear. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Cooper Smith at third for the Pioneers. Deer now will set, deliver that, and it's in there. Call strike 3. And Bear, who had already tossed his bat, will have to go back to the dugout. As that is a strikeout for Deer, and that will put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the first. But now that'll bring up number 14, Jake Keller, the first baseman. Keller making his 30th start as a .250 batting average, 12 runs, 22 hits, 1 double, 1 RBI, 11 walks, 24 strikeouts, and 3 stolen bases so far this season for him. He'll come up to the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first and a runner on third and Cooper Smith for the Pioneers. Deer will set fire. That one is down low for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Keller. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first still. Deer will step back on. 1-0 the count. Smith with the leadoff third. Deer now will set, fire, swung on a pop back. That just came off the end of Keller's bat. So the count will now even up 1-1 to Jake Keller. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Deer 1-1. We'll now look in. Smith still over there at third. Will set, fire, swung on a weakly driven over to third base. Third baseman will field it. Throw to first is in time. And that will end the bottom of the first inning. So 2 runs for the Pioneers thanks to an RBI single from Cooper Smith. They lead it 2-0 as we go to the top of the second right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the second inning and an update on the Niagara Power Batavia game. Niagara Power, after Batavia tied it up 1-1, have retaken the lead. Power lead at 3-1. So if Niagara is able to hold on and beat Batavia, and the Pioneers are able to hold on against Newark and beat the Pilots, then the Pioneers will retake the #1 spot in the West Division standings. So a lot of writing on this game. As Griffin Yastrzemski is back on the mound here to start the top of the second. Pioneers lead it 2-0. Yastrzemski now will set deal. Swung on a weakly driven over to shortstop and Presto. Presto will field it. Throw to first. Well in time. And that will be one away. One out here in the top of the second now for Yastrzemski on a quick 1 pitch, 1 ground out. And now that'll bring up number 29, Nick Payne, the third baseman. Payne, a 192 batting average and 20 starts, 19 runs, 10 hits, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 17 walks, and 13 strikeouts so far this season. 1 out here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski now will set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Payne. 1 out here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski 0-1. Well, now set deal. That one is in there just outside for ball 1. I really thought that was going to be called strike 2. But the count will even up at aces wild. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski shakes off 1 pitch. And now we'll set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 2. I was about to say if that umpire didn't call that one strike 2, I was going to have a problem with him. But the count will go 1-2 as he did call it called strike 2. Yastrzemski will set deal. That one is down low for ball 2, so the count will now even up at 2-2 to Payne. 1 out here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski 2-2. Well, now set deal. That one is down low for ball 3, so 3-2 the count out of Payne. Full count here. Yastrzemski looking for his 3rd strikeout of the night, and to put 2 outs here on the board in the top of the second. Yastrzemski 3-2 shakes off 1 pitch. And now we'll set deal. Swung on a pop back almost into my window. That was just left of me. And so the count will go 3-2 still to Payne. It went just up and left of my window. So 3-2 the count. Yastrzemski now will set deal. That one is in there. Call strike 3. He struck him out. That is the 3rd strike of the night for Griffin Yastrzemski. And that will put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the second. And now that'll bring on number 20, Michael Flaherty, the shortstop. Flaherty tied for first place in batting average with Arcamone at .333 in 29 starts, 18 runs, 32 hits, 4 doubles, 9 RBIs, 10 walks, and 18 strikeouts as Yastrzemski will set deal. That one is pop foul right field side. and out of play. So the count will go 0-1 to Flaherty here. 2 outs in the top of the second. Yastrzemski 0-1. Well, now set deal. That one is just down low and outside for ball 1. So the count will even up at 1-1 to Flaherty. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski now will set, deliver. That one is just check swing by Flaherty. They're going to say he did not go, so that is ball 2 outside. So 2-1 the count to Flaherty now as he will take the lead. 2 outs here still in the top of the second. Yastrzemski 2-1. Well, now set, deal. That one is upstairs, ball 3. So 3-1 the count now to Flaherty. Yastrzemski needs a strike here to stave off the walk. It would be Yastrzemski's second walk of the game. Yastrzemski 3-1 will now set, deal. Swung on a driven. That one almost hit Yastrzemski. That'll be a base hit into center. And a single for Flaherty here. That one really caught Yastrzemski by surprise. It just went right of his head. 2 outs here on the top of the second. Flaherty will be on first for the Pilots. And now that'll bring up number 12, Briggs Loveland, the second baseman. Loveland with a 183 batting average and 25 starts, 13 runs, 11 hits, 1 double, 4 RBIs, 19 walks, and 18 strikeouts so far this season. 2 outs here still in the top of the second. Yastrzemski now will set, deal, swing on and miss by Loveland. That was a ball up over his head, or over Schroeder's head, I should say. Well, Loveland still swung at it. So 0-1 the count now to Loveland. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski nods his head, 0-1. Still Flaherty over there at first. Yastrzemski will set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike 2. Just caught the outside edge. So 0-2 the count now to Loveland. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Yastrzemski looking for his 4th strikeout of the night to end the top of the second inning here on this 0-2 count. Yastrzemski 0-2 will set, deal. Swung on it, popped up. That is skied into shallow left. Aubin will come under, and he will make the play, and that will end the top of the second inning. No runs for the Pilots in the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Pioneers still lead it 2-0.
Owned and operated since 1905. At the Hilliard Corporation, we've proven ourselves time and time again as the leading industrial manufacturer in the Elmira and Southern Tier region. We make the products you need with the quality you and your business deserve. Industrial clutches and brakes, drivetrain products, filtration equipment, engine starters, braking systems. We engineer, manufacture, and distribute them.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the second inning here. Pioneers lead it 2-0 over the Pilots. There's still Angelo Deere out there for the Pilots, and now leading off for the Pioneers, it'll be number 2, Dom Presto, the shortstop. Presto coming off of a game at Newark on Sunday where he had 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 RBI, and 1 stolen base. He had 3 singles in that ball game. He was hot on Sunday. Looking to continue it here. That one is inside, ball 1 to Presto from Deere. So 1-0 the count to Presto. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Deere 1-0. Well, now set, deal. That is inside. Almost hit Presto, and the count will go 2-0. So 2-0 the count. I actually think that one went behind Presto. 2-0 the count now. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Deere 2-0. Well, now set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike 1 on a curveball. So 2-1 the count now to Presto. That one was right in the middle of the zone. Deer 2-1. Well, now set, fire. That one is inside. That hit Presto off of his knee, and that will be a hit by pitch for Presto as he will trot over to first. And so that'll put a leadoff runner on first here for the Pioneers with no outs in the bottom of the second. And now Boatman wants to have a word with Deer. But in the meantime, that'll bring up number 40, Nick Montagna, the extra hitter tonight. Montagna making his 15th start, has a .217 batting average, 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 double, 2 RBIs, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts, and 3 stolen bases so far this season. Deer now, no outs here in the bottom of the second still, with Presto off first for the Pioneers. And now Deer will check over to Presto. Presto able to get back in time. He scrambled back to first base. So Presto, will still be over there at first. No pitches to Montagna yet from Deer. Deer now will check over to Presto again. Presto, he is still safe at first. The first baseman, Ferrara, thought he got him. Umpire disagrees. So Presto will still be safe at first. Deer very happy to check over to Presto. Presto a decent lead off first, nothing crazy. Deer now, is he going to make it 3 straight? No, he won't. And that will be swung on, popped up into the shallow infield. It'll be caught by nobody. Ferrara thought the pitcher was going to get it. No, that's a force out by Presto. Presto will be tagged out. And so that'll put 1 out on the board. I thought the first baseman, Ferrara, just let it drop, but no, he didn't. So that's a force out by Presto. Or force out of Presto. Montagna's going to be out first on a fielder's choice. And so now that'll bring in number 42, Spencer Aubin, the left fielder. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. It'll be now Montagna on first. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Deer now will set, deliver. That one is in there. Call strike 1. So 0-1 the count now to Aubin. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Montagna off first for the Pioneers. Deer 0-1. Wouldn't be surprised if he checks. He does check. And still Montagna able to get back in time. Deer has been very, very aggressive with the checks in this inning. He wasn't that way in the bottom of the first when the Pioneers had runners on. But Deer's been checking a lot. Deer will set, deliver. That is down low and outside for ball 1. So the count will now even up to aces wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Montagna still off first. Takes a little bit bigger of a lead. Deer 1-1. Well, now check over to Montagna again. And Ferrara once again thought he had it. He didn't. Umpire disagrees. So 1-1 still to count to Aubin here. 1 out in the bottom of the second. Montagna off first. Montagna will retake his lead. Deer's going to check over to him again, isn't he? No, he won't. He will set, deliver. That is upstairs. In there, actually. Called strike 2. So 1-2 the count out to Aubin. Deer gets a call on that one. So 1-2 the count out to Aubin. 1 out here in the bottom of the first, or bottom of the second, excuse me. Montagna still off at first. Deer 1-2 will check over to Montagna again, and once again, Montagna dives back to be safe. That's the 3rd or 4th check of Montagna in this at-bat alone, and then he had 3 or 4 of Presto in the last at-bat. So Deer racking up those checks. And Deer will set deal. That is swung on a foul back. Montagna was going to steal second, but since Aubin fouled it, Montagna's going to have to go back to first. The count will stay 1-2 to Aubin. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. It'll be Kelson up after Aubin, and then the top of the order in Noss. Deer 1-2. Well, now set, deliver. That is a check swing. Are they going to say he went? They are going to say he went. That is called strike 3. So that is a strikeout by Deer to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the second inning. And now that'll bring up number 88, Joseph Keltson, a designated hitter. Keltson normally, as I said in the intro, a pitcher, doesn't normally get many ABs in league games, but he's getting the DH role tonight. Montagna first. This is a chance for Keltson to do some damage with the bat. Deer now will set, deliver. That is upstairs. In there. Called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Keltson. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Deer 0-1. Montagna still off at first. Deer looks that way. And now he's going to check over to Montagna again. And Montagna will dive back safely. Deer really is paranoid about base runners running. 0-1 the count now to Keltson. Deer will set, deliver. That is outside, ball 1. Good take there by Keltson. The count will even up at 1-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Deer. 1-1 will set, deal, swing and a miss by Keltson, and the count will go 1-2. Big hack there by Keltson. Comes up empty. So 1-2 the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Montagna still off of first for the Pioneers. If Keltson can find a way to get on here, it would set up base runners on first and second, and Kevin Ott's the leadoff man up at the plate. Deer 1-2. Well, now set, deliver. That is in there. Called strike 3. Keltson goes down looking. That is back-to-back strikeouts by Deer to end the bottom of the second inning. We go to the top of the third. Pioneers still lead it 2-0. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the third inning. Pioneers lead it 2-0 over the Pilots. It'll still be Griffin Yastrzemski out there for the Pioneers. And leading off this inning for the Pilots, it'll be number 40, Tyler Walters, the extra hitter. Walters has a .250 batting average and 11 starts, 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 triples, 3 RBIs, 5 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Yastrzemski now will set, deals, swing and a miss by Walters, and the count quickly goes 0-1. 0-1 the count to Walters. No outs here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski now will set, deals, swung on a pop-back foul just off the end of Walters' bat. So the count will go 0-2 now. Yastrzemski looking for his 4th strikeout here to put 1 out on the board in the top of the third. Yastrzemski 0-2. Well, now set, deal. That one is down low and outside for ball 1. So 1-2 the count now to Walters. It will be the top of the order in Frankie DiMartino, and then Goodness And then his brother Justin DiMartino up after Walters. Yastrzemski 1-2 will set, deal, swung on, and chopped foul. That is left field side, so the count will stay 1-2 to Walters. Walters will step back in. Yastrzemski shook off one pitch. And now we'll set, deliver. That one is just outside for ball 2. Check swing by Walters. They're going to say he did not go. So 2-2 the count now as it evens up. No outs here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski's still looking for that fourth strikeout. As Walters will be granted time. And he will step out. Walters now stepping back in. Still 2-2 the count. Yastrzemski now will set, deliver. That one is upstairs, in there. Cole, strike 3. He struck him out. That is the fourth strikeout of the night for Griffin Yastrzemski, and that will put one out here on the board in the top of the third. And now that'll bring him number 25, Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder, the leadoff man, popped out in his first at-bat against Yastrzemski to start the ball game. One out here in the top of the third as he will step back into the batter's box. Yastrzemski now will set, deal. That one is in there. Call strike 1 right down Broadway. So 0-1 the count out of DiMartino. One out here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski now 0-1 will set, deal. Swung on a pop back. That is going to be foul. And so the count will go 0-2. It looked like it just popped out of Schroeder's glove. So 0-2 the count to DiMartino. Yastrzemski looking for back-to-back strikeouts here to put 2 outs on the board in the top of the third. It would be Yastrzemski's 5th strikeout overall. Yastrzemski 0-2. Will now set, deal. That one is swung on and driven up the center. Presto will field it. Throw to first in time, and that will be 2 away. A laser from Presto will put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the third. And now the number 2, Paulie Goodness, the right fielder. He struck out in his first at-bat against Yastrzemski. He'll be coming up to the plate here with 2 outs in the top of the third. Yastrzemski 1 out away from getting out of this inning 1-2-3. Yastrzemski now will set, deal. That one is upstairs, ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Goodness. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski will set, deal. That one is down low and inside for ball 2. Or outside, I should say. So 2-0 the count now to Goodness. 2 outs here in the top of the third. And that one is outside, ball 3. So 3-0 the count now to Goodness. Yastrzemski trying to avoid the walk here. Needs a strike to get back in the count. Yastrzemski 3-0. Well, now set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike 1. He gets that strike. So 3-1 the count to Goodness here. 2 outs in the top of the third. Yastrzemski going to have to battle back in this count. Yastrzemski 3-1. Well, now set, fire. That one is just outside, ball 4. So that'll be a walk for Goodness to put a runner on first here for the Pilots with 2 outs in the top of the third. Yastrzemski, we've seen this movie before where he gets those first two quick outs and then he just has a little bit of trouble getting that third out. It has not resulted in any runs for the Pilots so far, so can't really knock him on it. And now that'll bring on number 10, Justin DiMartino, the left fielder, hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. Yastrzemski with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Will set, deliver. That one is in there. Called strike 1 on a curveball. So 0-1 the count to Justin DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski will look over to Goodness. Now we'll set, deal. Goodness is going to try and steal. That is a ball upstairs. And the tag is in time. How is that not called? Out 3. Are you kidding me? Bear clearly had the tag. I saw clear as day from up here. That is an absurdly bad call by that umpire. He completely botched that. Bear cleanly had it in his glove. Tag Goodness out at second. That is an atrocious call. And that will even up the count to DiMartino 1-1. And keep the Pilots going. That is one of the worst calls I've ever seen. Yastrzemski will set, deal. Swing and a miss by DiMartino. So the count will go 1-2 now. 1-2 the count to DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski 1-2 will set deliver. That is down low in the dirt for ball 2. So that will even up the count at deuces wild here to DiMartino. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the third. Yastrzemski deuces wild with goodness over there at second, even though he shouldn't be. Yastrzemski now will set deal. That one is upstairs for ball 3. So 3-2 the count to Justin DiMartino. Full count here. Yastrzemski looking for the strikeout to end the top of the third inning, which should have been over already if it wasn't for that terrible call at second. 3-2 the count to DiMartino. Yastrzemski now will set deliver. That one is in there. Call strike 3. He struck him out anyway. That will end the top of the third inning and the 5th strikeout for Yastrzemski. We go to the bottom of the third. Pioneers still lead at 2-0. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the third inning here. Pioneers lead at 2-0 over the Pilots. And an update in the Batavia-Niagara Power game. Niagara still leads it, but it's 3-2 now in the top of the 5th in Niagara. So things are getting tight up there. I'll keep you guys updated on that scoreline. Of course, the importance of that game is that if Niagara wins and the Pioneers win, then they will retake their spot as the #1 team in the Western Division standings. Leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be number 33, Kevin Noss, the center fielder who struck out in his first at-bat. It's still Deer out there for the Pilots. Deer now will set, fire, swung on a driven. That is a blooper into center. That will drop. That is a base hit single for Kevin Noss. Another blooper off the end of the bat for the Pioneers. They'll take it. So that'll be a leadoff single for Noss. And now that'll bring up number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman. He was walked in his first at-bat. Muzio will step up here with no outs and a runner on first for the Pioneers. Deer will look over to Noss. Noss definitely a threat to steal, has speed. Deer now will set deliver immediately as I say that. Noss is going to steal second. A Boatman dropped the ball, so he will be safe at second. That was a ball inside to Muzio, so 1-0 the count to Muzio, and now a runner in scoring position for the Pioneers with Kevin Noss at second base. If Muzio can get a base hit here, that would probably score Noss. Noss is definitely fast enough to get around. Deer 1-0. Looks over to Noss. Jumping around a little bit. Deer now will set deal. That is outside. Ball 2. And Noss will go back to second. So I actually think they're voiding that pitch because I think the pitcher requested time, I don't know. Deer will look over to Noss. It's still 1-0 the count. The scoreboard reads. Deer will set deliver. That one is inside, ball 2. So 2-0 the count to Muzio now. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Noss off second for the Pioneers. Deer 2-0. Looks over to Noss again. Noss shifting around over there. It's Flaherty behind him. Deer will set deliver. That is a swing and a miss by Muzio. And so the count will now go 2-1. No outs here in the bottom of the third. It would be massive if Muzio can get a base hit here. I know he's gone hitless for his past couple starts. It'd be big for not only just the Pioneers, but for him personally. 2-1 the count. Deer will set deliver. That is swung on, popped up. That is going to be an out. No! Third baseman dropped it. That is a single. As Muzio will be safe off of an error. That literally popped out of the glove of Payne. That is an error for sure. And so reached by error for Muzio, as Payne should have caught that. That should have been a pop out. Instead, Payne literally just slipped out of the bottom of his glove. And that will put runners on first and second with no outs and bring up John Schroeder to the plate. Schroeder, number 10, the catcher tonight, walked in his first at-bat. Payne looking at his glove thinking, how did I drop that one? So Deer will look into Schroeder, and now we'll look over to Noss off second. Deer now will set deal. That one is down low for ball 1. That one got away from Bowman momentarily, but it'll keep the runners where they are. So 1-0 the count to Schroeder. No outs here, still in the bottom of the third. Pioneers looking to extend a 2-0 lead. Deer 1-0. Noss shifting around back there off second. Will now set delivered. Swung on it, popped up. That is left field side and way out of play. So the count will now even up to Schroeder at 1-1. Still no outs here in the bottom of the third. Schroeder will step back in. Deer 1-1 the count. We'll look over to Noss. Now he will set, deliver. That one is down low and outside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count now to Schroeder as he will take the lead in the count. Still no outs here in the bottom of the third. Muzio off first, Noss off second for the Pioneers. Deer 2-1 will set deal. That is outside ball 3. So 3-1 the count to Schroeder. And this is a dangerous situation for Deer here. If he walks Schroeder, that would load the bases for Cooper Smith, who already has an RBI single tonight. So that is something Deer does not want to do. He needs to try and find a strike here. 3-1 the count to Schroeder. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Deer looks over to Noss. And now he will set, deliver. Swung on it, popped up. Schroeder skied that one. Then Coach Drum got in the way. And I don't know if the umpire is going to call interference. Drum was trying to get out of the way, but he tripped Payne as he was going for the ball. And so I think what they're going to rule is that that's just a foul ball. Yes, they will. So everyone's going to stay where they are. The count will stay the same. Or no, it won't. It'll actually go 3-2 now. So 3-2. Or no, they're going to say that's an out. So they are going to say that Schroeder got popped out on that one, and they're going to call Andrew Drum with some interference there over there at third base. So that's a pop out by Schroeder to put one out on the board here in the bottom of the third. And now that'll bring up number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder, who RBI singled in his first at-bat. That was one of the more wackier sequences. Drum was backing up to try and get out of the way. Payne didn't see him and then just simply tripped over him. One out here in the bottom of the third. Still runners on first and second for the Pioneers. Noss off second, Muzio off first, and Smith at the plate. Smith already has an RBI single, looking for more. Deer now will set deal. That is check swing. They're going to call that down low and outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Smith. One out here in the bottom of the third. Deere 1-0 looks into Smith. Nas still dancing over there at second. Deere thinking about it, and now he will set fire. That one is in there, called strike one. So the count will now even up to Smith at aces while 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Still Muzio at first, Nas at second for the Pioneers. Deere 1-1. The clap's going here for Cooper Smith. Deere will set deliver. Swung on a skide into center. Center fielder Frank DiMartino should come under, and he will. And Nas is going to be held at second as the throw was in there quickly. So that is a fly out by Cooper Smith to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the third. And now that'll bring up number 14, or excuse me, no, number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman, struck out in his first at bat. 2 outs here now in the bottom of the third. Still Muzio and Nas at first and second. Deere now will set, deliver, swung on a pop back. That is foul, so the count will go 0-1 to Bear. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Deere 0-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. We'll look over to Nos. Nos hesitated as a swing and a miss by Bear. And the count will go into Nos. Hesitated as if he was going to try and steal third. He decided not to. 0-2 the count to Bear. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. A base hit would be massive as Deere will step off and pump fake over in Nos' direction. So now he'll step back in. 0-2 the count to Bear. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Deere now looks over to Nos, dancing around, and he will now set deliver. That is upstairs for ball 1. So 1-2 the count now to Bear. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Nos, I think he's going to steal. I think he's going to at least attempt it at some point. He hasn't. He stole second base originally before Muzio was walked. Or no, excuse me, before Muzio reached on an error. But now he will steal as soon as I say it, and that is pop back foul right field side. And so the count will stay 1-2 to Bear. I knew Nos was going to try and steal. He's too fast not to. So the count will stay 1-2 to Bear. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Deere will step off now and pump fake once again over to Nos. Nos, I think he might go again here. Try and get over the third. Deere now will set deliver. Swung on a driven in the right center. And it'll be Frankie DiMartino. No, it'll be the right fielder. Goodness, who will come under and make the play. So that'll be a fly out by Bear to end the bottom of the third inning. Pioneers strand 2 runners on in the bottom of the third and get no runs. We go to the top of the fourth, however. They still lead it 2-0.
Owned and operated since 1905. At the Hilliard Corporation, we've proven ourselves time and time again as the leading industrial manufacturer in the Elmira and Southern Tier region. We make the products you need with the quality you and your business deserve. Industrial clutches and brakes, drivetrain products, filtration equipment, engine starters, braking systems. We engineer, manufacture, and distribute them. All of the products we manufacture are designed right here, so we truly know the products we provide for you, inside and out. On top of being an industrial manufacturer, at the Hilliard Corporation we also serve as a weld shop and machine shop. We specialize in creating custom parts and pieces to fit particular and uncommon applications. The secondary location is the home of the drivetrain division, where products for Polaris and other vehicle manufacturers are made. This is a high-volume, celled manufacturing plant that produces thousands of parts daily. Over time, Hilliard's product line has diversified, but our company has stayed true to our Elmira roots. Today, Hilliard maintains its original location while continually expanding its motion control and filtration product lines in the Elmira area. Hilliard designs and manufactures for companies around the globe, occupying more than 500,000 square feet and employing about 500 people. Taking pride in serving the Elmira community for over a century, the Hilliard Corporation.
For more than a century, you've counted on Arnett Health, counted on us to heal you, support you.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the fourth inning here. Pioneers lead it 2-0 over the Pilots. It'll be Jack Harkemon leading off, and it'll still be Griffin Yastrzemski out there on the mound for the Pioneers as he will set, deliver, swung on a driven first base side. That is foul. And so the count will go 0-1 to Harkemon. Harkemon, the DH, number 7, was walked in his first at-bat. 0-1 the count. That one is swung on a skide into left. And Aubin will come under, and he will make the play. And so that'll be a fly up by Harkemon to put one out here in the top of the fourth. One away in the top of the fourth, and now that'll bring up number 9, Gage Boatman, the catcher. Struck out in his first at-bat against Yastrzemski. One out here in the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski now, as Boatman will step in finally. Yastrzemski will set deal. That one is in there. Called strike one. 0-1 the count to Boatman. One out here in the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski 0-1. Well, now set fire. That one is down low in the dirt. The count will even up at Aces Wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the fourth. Bowman will step back in. 1-1 the count. Yastrzemski will set, deliver, swung on and driven foul right field side. So the count will go 1-2 now to Boatman. One out here still in the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski looking for what would be his 6th strikeout of the night. Yastrzemski 1-2. Well, now set deal. Swung on a weakly driven over to third. Muzio will field it. Throw to first is not in time, and it's missed by Keller. That one gets behind him, and now Cooper Smith will cut the ball off in foul territory. Throw into the infield, and Keller missed it again, and so it'll be finally stopped by Bear. That'll be a base hit for Bowman, or technically a double, I guess. Double by Bowman as he got over to second. And so now that'll bring on number 24, Chris Ferrara, the first baseman. Grounded out in his first at-bat. One out here in the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski now. We'll look over to Bowman off second, and now we'll set deal. Swing and a miss by Ferrara, and the count will go 0-1. So 0-1 the count to Ferrara. One out here in the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski 0-1. Well, now wait as Ferrara steps out as he's granted time. Ferrara steps back in, still 0-1 the count. One out here on the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski now will set deal. Swung on it, popped up. In the shallow right, Smith will be coming under it, and he will make the play. And so that'll be a fly out by Ferrara to put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the fourth. And now that'll bring him number 29, Nick Payne, the third baseman who struck out in his first at-bat against Yastrzemski earlier in the ball game. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Still keeping a very close eye on that Batavia-Niagara game. Niagara still leads it 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th of that one. Yastrzemski, 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Will now set deal. That one is down low and away for ball 1. Payne wanted to swing at that. He hesitated. 1-0 the count to Payne. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Yastrzemski 1-0. We'll look over, and now set, deliver. That is down low and away. Schroeder, good catch there in order to stop that one. So 2-0 the count to Payne. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski needs a pitch to get back in the count here. Yastrzemski looks over to Bowman. 2-0. Will now set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike one. Just caught the outside edge of the plate. So the count will go 2-1 now to Payne. Payne not happy with that call, but it still stands. Yastrzemski 2-1. Well, now set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike two right down Broadway. And so the count will now even up at deuces wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Bowman off second for the Pilots. Yastrzemski looking for a 6th strikeout in order to end the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski now will set, deal. That one is down low in the dirt for ball 3. So 3-2 the count to Payne as it will go full. This is a big pitch for Yastrzemski. Trying not to give up a walk that would put runners on first and second for the Pilots. Yastrzemski 3-2. We'll look over to Bowman. Now set, deal. That one is down low and outside for ball 4. And that'll be a walk for Payne to put runners on first and second here for the Pilots with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. And now that'll bring on number 20, Michael Flaherty, the shortstop. He singled in his first at-bat. Yastrzemski looks over to Boatman and now will set, deal. That one is upstairs for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Flaherty. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski needs an out here in order to end the top of the 4th inning. He does not want to walk Flaherty here. So that would load the bases. Yastrzemski will set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. So 1-1 the count out of Flaherty as it'll even up. Still 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Runners on first and second for the Pilots. Boatman hasn't attempted to steal third yet. I think he might, though. 1-1. Yastrzemski will set, deal. That is outside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Flaherty. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski needs this out. It would be Loveland after Flaherty. Yastrzemski looks over to Bowman again off second. 2-1 will now set, fire. Swung on a driven into left. Aubin is not going to be able to get to it. That is a base hit. And now the throw to home is not in time, and a run is scored. That is an RBI single for Michael Flaherty. And all of a sudden, this is a 2-1 ball game. And now that'll bring up number 12, Briggs Loveland, the second baseman, flew out in his first at-bat. Still 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski just looking for 1 out in order to get out of the top of the 4th inning. Pioneers stranding 2 runners on in the last inning. He's coming back to bite them. It's a 1-run ball game with a runner at third for the Pilots. In Payne, and it's Flaherty at first. Yastrzemski will set, deal. That is upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Loveland. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski 1-0. Well, now set, deal. Swung on a pop back foul by Loveland. The count will even up at 1-1. 1-1 the count to Loveland. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Yastrzemski, desperate need of this out in order to keep the Pioneers the lead. Yastrzemski 1-1. Well, now set, deal. Loveland, or excuse me, that is Flaherty is going to try and steal second. He is out, and that will end the top of the 4th inning. We finally get the call at second. Umpire gets it right this time. Another good tag there by Bear. And that will end the top of the 4th inning. Pilots do answer and get a run. So it's now a 2-1 ball game. Pioneers still lead it as we go to the bottom of the 4th right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the fourth inning here. Pioneers lead it 2-1 over the Pilots. It'll still be Angelo Deere out there for the Pilots, and leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it will be number 14, Jay Keller, the first baseman, who grounded out in his first at-bat. Pioneers looking to answer after Griffin Yastrzemski gave up a run in the top of the fourth. Trying to get the multi-run lead back for Yastrzemski, and I do see Gardner Meeks over there warming up in the bullpen, so potentially for him as well to work with. Deere now with Keller at the plate. Well, now set, deliver. That one is in there just down low for ball one. I'm actually surprised. I thought that was going to be called strike one, to be honest. But Keller will take it. 1-0 the count. Deere will set, deliver. That is upstairs for ball two. So 2-0 the count now to Keller. No outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Deere 2-0 will set, fire. That one is just in. No, it's in there. That is called strike one. I thought that was a little bit outside, but the count will go 2-1 to Keller. Keller now will have time. Drum talking with the umpire. Drum does not want to get ejected. He's gotten ejected a couple times this year. He's just talking with it for now. Deere 2-1. Well, now set, deal, swung on a driven over to shortstop of Flaherty. Flaherty will throw to first in time, and that will be one away. Ground out by Keller puts one out on the board here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And so now that'll bring up number 2, Dom Presto, the shortstop. He was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Presto now up. No runners on for the Pioneers. Presto will try and change that here. Deere will set, deliver. That one is in there. Called strike one. 0-1 the count to Presto. One out here in the bottom of the fourth. Deere will set, deliver. That one is inside for ball one. So the count will now even up at aces wild here to Presto. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Deere 1-1 will set, deliver. That is down low and inside for ball two. So 2-1 the count to Presto, as he will take the lead in the count. Deere 2-1 will now set, fire. That is going to be a hit off Presto. It looked like it hit off Presto. Maybe it just hit off the knob of his bat. Well, that one was behind him. The count will go 3-1, and Presto staying in there. I heard it come off something, though. 3-1 the count to Presto. Deere now will set, deliver. That is inside. In there. Called strike two. Presto was about to walk away, and I thought that was ball four as well. Well, the count will now go full. This umpiring crew has been very suspect tonight. A lot of controversial calls. Deere 3-2 will set, deal. That is swung on a pop foul. Left field side. Presto able to swing at it and keep himself alive. So still full count, 3-2. One out here in the bottom of the fourth. Deere shakes off 3 pitches. 3-2 still to count. Deere now will set, fire, swung on a driven into center. That might get down. No, it won't, as Frankie DiMartino scoops that up. And so that'll be a fly out for Presto to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the fourth. And now that'll bring up number 40, Nick Montagna, the extra hitter. Reached on a fielder's choice in his first at-bat. He'll come up here with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. Looks like Meeks is still warming, so he might be coming in here to start the top of the fifth. Meeks, one of the Pioneers' best relievers, can definitely go 5 innings if asked for it. And Deer will set to deliver. That is upstairs, ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Montagna. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Deer will set to deliver. Swing and a miss by Montagna. The count will even up at 1-1. 1-1 the count to Montagna. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Deer now will set fire. That one is just it in there. Called strike 2. I did not think that was a strike. One umpire disagrees with me. 1-2 the count to Montagna. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Like I said before, this umpire crew is very controversial. They have not been good tonight. 1-2 the count. Deer will set to deliver. Swing and a miss by Montagna, and that'll be a strikeout for Deer. That is his 4th of the night, or excuse me, his 5th of the night. And that will end the bottom of the 4th inning. No runs for the Pioneers in the bottom of the 4th. We go to the top of the 5th. They still lead it 2-1. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 5th inning here. Pioneers still lead it 2-1 over the Pilots. It'll still be Griffin Yastrzemski out there for the Pioneers, and leading off this inning for the Pilots, it'll still be number 12, Briggs Loveland, the second baseman, who was up at the plate in the top of the 4th, but the runner at second was thrown out to end the inning. So Loveland will still be at the plate. Yastrzemski now will set deal. That one is just inside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Loveland. No outs here in the top of the 5th. Meeks is still warming in the bullpen for the Pioneers, so wouldn't be surprised if he comes in soon. That is swung on a driven right field side, but that is foul. And so the count will even up 1-1 to Loveland. No outs here in the top of the 5th. Yastrzemski 1-1 will set deal. Swung on a weakly chop. That is going to be caught by Bear. And that'll be a pop out. That one went over Yastrzemski's head, but Bear was able to run in on it and get the out. So that'll be one away in the top of the 5th. And now that'll bring on number 40, Tyler Walters, the extra hitter tonight. Struck out in his first at-bat. One out here in the top of the 5th. Yastrzemski, it'd be nice if he can make it through 5. Yastrzemski will set deal. Walters lays down a bunt. Schroeder will catch it. Throw to first in time, and that will be 2 away. Walters tried to get cheeky with the bunt, but it did not pan out for him, as Schroeder was able to scoop that up and throw to Keller in time. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th, and now that'll bring up the leadoff man, number 25, Frankie DiMartino, once again the center fielder. Popped out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat. 2 outs here now in the top of the 5th. As DiMartino will step in. Yastrzemski now will set, deal, swing and a miss by DiMartino, and the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. That one is just down low for ball 1. So 1-1 the count to DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Yastrzemski will set, deal, swung on a popped up in the right. Smith will be coming under, and he will make the play, and that will end the top of the 5th inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Griffin Yastrzemski, and the Pioneers still lead it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th right after this.
What if red wine set aside the steak and made room for love? What if we've been drinking wine wrong all along, and instead wine was to be shared as a human experience with love, integrity, and hope? Hi, my name is Greg Taylor. I'm the vineyard manager and property manager of Bully Hill Vineyards, and I'm a 4th generation winemaker and 5th generation grape grower of my family. So it all started with my great-great-grandfather George and his son Walter Taylor Sr. They came up to this region for the promise of a better life due to the rising wine industry on Keuka Lake. Walter Taylor was the one who first started the Taylor Wine Company. The Taylor Wine Company was one of the largest wineries in the United States. My great-grandfather had passed away, and my grandfather Grayton and his 2 brothers Fred and Clarence took over the company at its peak, producing around 40 million gallons of wine a year. Grayton had a son, Walter, who was my father, and he started Bully Hill Vineyards in 1967. My father had a vision for the Finger Lakes wine industry. When Bully Hill was started, only 5 producers existed, and now there's over 300. And he firmly believed that you have to have a certain level of integrity and honesty with the people around.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 5th inning here. Pioneers still lead it 2-1 over the Pilots. It'll still be Angelo Deere out there for the Pilots, and leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be number 42, Spencer Robin, the left fielder. He struck out in his first at-bat against Deere, looking to even the score here in round 2. It'll be the 9, 10, and then the leadoff hitters up for the Pioneers. It'll be Aubin, Kelton, then Noss. If Aubin or Kelton can get on before Noss in the top of the order come up, that'd be big. Deere will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Aubin, and the count will go 0-1. Pioneers looking to extend their lead and make it a multi-run lead once again, and give potentially Meeks or Yastrzemski some more room to work with. Deere will set, deliver. That one is inside for ball 1. So the count will now even up to Aubin, 1-1. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere 1-1. Well, now set, deal. That is down low in the dirt for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Aubin as he will take the lead. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere 2-1. Well, now set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike 2. So 2-2 the count now as it evens up to Aubin. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere 2-2 will set, fire, swung on it, pop foul off of Aubin himself. That one came off of his legs, so the count will stay at 2-2. Aubin battling here with Deere, 2-2 the count, no outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Swung on a pop back foul right field side. That is out of play. And I think I do see, yes it is. So Griffin Yastrzemski is done for the night. So it will be Gardner Meeks coming in the top of the 6th as Meeks is ready and warming and Yastrzemski's over there with his hat off and his glove off. So I'm assuming in the bullpen area is what I'm talking about. Deere 2-2 will set, deliver. That is upstairs ball 3. So from here on out, Meeks will have to work 4 innings to try and get the Pioneers this win, and hopefully Niagara can help the Pioneers out by getting a win in Niagara against Batavia. and give the Pioneers the #1 spot, as that is a strikeout. And Boatman knew it as he immediately threw that one to third. That is a strikeout. Aubin goes down looking, and that'll put one out on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. And now that'll bring up number 88, Joseph Kelton. The designated hitter tonight struck out in his first at-bat, also went down looking. One out here in the bottom of the 5th. Pioneers still lead it 2-1. They'd love to get a multi-run lead for Meeks to work with. That is swung on a driven up center, and Flaherty cannot field it. That will be either a reach by error or a single. I'm waiting to see which. They're going to give him the single, so that is a base hit single for Joseph Kelton with one out here in the bottom of the 5th. And now that'll put a runner on first for the Pioneers, and that'll bring up the leadoff man at number 33, Kevin Noss, the center fielder. Struck out in his first at-bat, singled in his second at-bat. Noss trying to advance Kelton, who is off at first. Deer now will set deal. That is down low and outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Noss. One out here in the bottom of the 5th. And there is a pitcher warming in the bullpen for the Pilots. It's number 26. Deer 1-0. Well, now check over to Kelton at first. He almost got tagged out. Kelton able to get back in time, so he will still be safe over there. 1-0 the count to Noss. One out here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelton's got to be careful over there with his leads. Deer will set deliver. That is upstairs and outside. In there, actually, called strike 1. So the count will even up to Aces Wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelton will take his lead off first again. Kelton's got to be expecting a couple checkovers at this point, as yes, Deer will check over to him again. Kelton more ready for it this time, and he will still be safe at first. Kelton retakes his lead, still 1-1 the count to Noss. Deer will now set fire, swing and a miss by Noss, and the count quickly goes 1-2 now. 1-2 the count to Noss, one out here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelton off first for the Pioneers. Deer now 1-2. Well, now check over to Kelton again, and he will still be safe. Deer once again loves those checkovers. Kelton retakes his lead, still 1-2 the count to Noss. Deer will set deliver, swung on a pop back. Noss just got a piece of it to keep himself alive. So the count will stay 1-2 still to Noss, one out here in the bottom of the 5th. Deer 1-2. Well, now set deal. That is outside for ball 2. Good take there by Noss, and it will even up the count at at 2-2. Not Deuces Wild. There's only one out. Deer 2-2 with Kelton still out first. Will now set fire. Swung on a driven in the left center, and it will not drop as Frankie DiMartino comes across and gets to it. There was a cross up between him and his brother. Both were going for it. It is Frankie DiMartino playing center who eventually came down with it. So that is a fly out by Noss to put 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And now that'll bring up number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman. Walked in his first at-bat, reached on an error in his second at-bat. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelton still off first for the Pioneers. It's the heart of the order coming up. Deer now will set, deliver, swung on a crushed in the right, going back as the right fielder at the wall. It is gone. See you later. Joe Muzio delivers a 2-run homer here in the bottom of the 5th, and the Pioneers lead it 4-1. One away for Muzio to snap his hitless streak. He shatters it with a 2-run shot over the right field wall. Wow. Muzio had been hitless for 3 or 4 games, and he comes back in style with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 5th. And now that'll do it for Deere. Deere is done. And I think they're going to pull him here after giving up that 2-run homer. We'll have to see. There's a mound meeting here at least. But the Pioneers lead it 4-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Muzio absolutely crushed that one in the right. That was right over the Kennedy valve sign, right next to the foul pole. Wow, that one might go for the farthest home run of the season. I don't know. That one was awfully far back there. That was well up and over the wall. One swing of the bat could change the game, ladies and gentlemen, and Joe Muzio just did. And so now that'll bring up number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Walked in his first at-bat, popped out in his second at-bat. Schroeder will step back in. I'm still recovering from the shock of that home run. Oh my goodness. Deere now will step in to face Schroeder. Deere will set deliver. That is ball 1 outside. And by the way, it is still Deere out there. They elected to keep with him even after that 2-run home run. So 1-0 the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere will set fire. That one is in there. Just caught the outside edge of the plate. I thought that one was more of a ball than the first pitch, but umpire calls it a strike anyway. 1-1 the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere will set deal. That is outside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count now. To Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere 2-1 will set deal. Swung on a chop back foul right field side. And so that will even up the count at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Schroeder will step back in. Deuces wild to count. Deere now 2-2. Will set fire. Swung on a crush left field side. That is foul, unfortunately, out and out of play. So the count will stay at 2-2 to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. In an update, okay, so Niagara, it just went final. Niagara did defeat Batavia 3-2 the final. So if the Pioneers hold on and defeat the Pilots, they will be the first place team in the West Division standings. Swung on a pop back by Schroeder, and the count will stay at 2-2. We're waiting to see what happens with Jamestown and Geneva. That game was delayed to rain, the game 2 of that doubleheader. So I have to see what happens with that. But Niagara has defeated Batavia, which means that if the Pioneers win, they will retake the #1 spot in the Western Division standings. Still 2-2 the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Deere now will set fire. Swung on and missed by Schroeder. He goes down swinging on a pitch inside, and that will end the bottom of the 5th inning. However, the Pioneers, they get a 2-run home run from Joe Muzio to make it a 4-1 ball game as we go to the top of the 6th right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream, and it's the top of the 6th inning here. Pioneers lead at 4-1, and now it'll be a new pitcher on the mound here for the Pioneers, and number 49, Gardner Meeks. Meeks, this will probably be his last appearance before the playoffs. I would not be surprised if Drum tries and saves him. He's one of the best relievers for the Pioneers. As I take a look at his stats real quick, Meeks making his 11th appearance. He also has 2 starts. He has a 1.12 ERA and 32 innings pitched. He's only given up 16 hits, 5 runs, only 4 of those earned, 14 walks, and has 34 strikeouts so far this season. A 3-1 record, and has 3 saves on his resume as well. The last time we saw him out was on Sunday at Newark in Game 2 of that doubleheader, where he threw for 3 innings. He only had 2 strikeouts and got the save as well. He did not give up any hits or any runs. And so Meeks will be tasked here to get 4 innings of work here to try and close out this ball game. There might be someone coming in like the 8th of the night to relieve Meeks, but Meeks has definitely proven in the past that he can go 5, 6, 7 innings even pretty clean. Leading off against Meeks here, it'll be number 2, Paulie Goodness, the right fielder. Struck out in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat. Meeks now will set deal. That one is just outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Goodness. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Meeks 1-0. Well, now set, fire, swung on a driven weakly over to Muzio. Muzio can't reach it. Presto does. Throw to first is over Keller's head. That goes into the dugout. And so Goodness will get an extra base there. And that is going to be a reach by error. So a reach by error for Goodness will put him on second with no outs here in the top of the 6th. It got by Muzio, and then Presto fielded it and lasered it to first, but way up high and over Keller's head. And that's why Goodness is over there at second. And so now that'll bring him number 10, Justin DiMartino, the left fielder. Hit by a pitch in his first at-bat, struck out in his second at-bat. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Meeks now, as time is given to DiMartino, so he'll step out. Meeks will look over, and now will set, deliver, swing and a miss by DiMartino, and the count quickly goes 0-1. It is Goodness off second, no outs here in the top of the 6th. A 4-run ball game, so Meeks has a 3-run lead to work with here. Meeks 0-1 will look over to Goodness. And now we'll set, deal, swung on it, driven into the left. That's a base hit and going to get down to the left. Goodness has the throw. He'll be held up at third. Muzio will catch it in the infield. But that will be a single for Justin DiMartino to put runners on the corners here for the Pilots with no outs in the top of the 6th. And now that'll bring on number 7, Jack Arcamone, the designated hitter. Walked in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Meeks. The double play is available, but it would probably score Goodness still, as Goodness is the one at third. Meeks now will set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Arcamone. No outs here in the top of the 6th. The runner still on the corners for the Pilots. It'd be preferred if Meeks can get a strikeout here to put 1 out on the board and then double play to Presto to get out of it. Meeks will set deal. That one is down low for ball 1. So 1-1 the count to Arcamone as the count will even up. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Meeks 1-1. Well, now set, fire, swung on a pop back foul. That is left field side and out of play. So the count will go 1-2 to Arcamone. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Meeks looking for his first strikeout of the night here to put 1 out on the board in the top of the 6th. Meeks 1-2. Well, now set, fire, swung on a driven over to Bear at second. He will go to second and Presto. Throw to first is not in time. That'll be a fielder's choice out for Arcamone, but that will also score a run. So it is now a 4-2 ball game with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. And so now, that'll bring him number 9, Gage Bowman, the catcher. Struck out in his first at-bat, doubled in his second at-bat. Meeks tried to turn 2 there. or excuse me, Presto tried to turn two. It was a good effort. Just the throw was not quite enough to get Archimon out as he was running to first. So only one out here in the top of the sixth, and now a 4-2 ball game. Double play is available for Meeks to get him out of this inning. Meeks will set deal. That is down low and away for ball one to Gage Boatman. So 1-0 the count to Boatman. One out here in the top of the sixth. Meeks 1-0. Well, now set, deliver. That one is check swing off of Boatman's bat. He barely even moved his bat, and it fouled off. So the count will even up at Aces Wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the sixth. It's still Archimon over there at first. Meeks 1-1. Well, now set, deliver, swung on a weakly driven over to Muzio. Muzio misses it. It hopped over his glove. And that is going to be a reach by air. And that will put runners on first and second here for the Pilots with only one out. The infield is not helping Meeks right now. Double play is still available that can get Meeks out of it, but at this point, I don't know if the infield's going to be able to field it. And so now that we're going to number 24, Chris Ferrara, the first baseman, ground out his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat. One out here in the top of the sixth. Meeks now will set, deal, out is outside for ball one. So 1-0 the count to Ferrara, one out here in the top of the sixth. Double play is still available, and it looks like Kevin McGovern is starting to warm down there for the Pioneers. 1-0 the count. Meeks now will set, deal, swing and a miss by Ferrara, and the count will quickly even up again at Aces Wild. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the sixth. Double play still available to get Meeks out of this jam and to keep this at a 4-2 ball game. Meeks 1-1. We'll look over to Archimon. And now we'll set, deliver. That one is upstairs, ball two. So 2-1 the count to Ferrara. One out here in the top of the sixth. Meeks 2-1. Will now set, fire, swing and a miss by Ferrara. And the count will now quickly even up at 2-2. Meeks, it'd be a big strikeout here to put 2 outs on the board in the top of the sixth. It would be his first of the ball game. Meeks 2-2. Well, now set, deal. That one is upstairs for ball three. So 3-2 the count to Ferrara. This is a massive pitch here for Meeks. 3-2. If Meeks walks Ferrara, that loads the bases for the Pilots with only 1 out. Meeks needs to strike out here. 3-2. Meeks will set, deal, swung on a pop back, foul. Ferrara just got a piece of it to keep himself alive. So another big pitch coming up here for Meeks, 3-2. He can still get out of this. He just needs to strike out. Meeks 3-2. Well, now set, deliver. That one is upstairs and inside, ball four. And now Meeks is in trouble, as that will load the bases for the Pilots with only 1 out, and all of a sudden that 4-2 lead is in jeopardy here in the top of the sixth inning. And now that'll bring on number 29, Nick Payne, the third baseman. Struck out in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat. Payne now will come up to the plate here. 1 out in the top of the sixth. Bases loaded for the Pilots. This is a big at-bat. Double play still available for Meeks as he will set deal. That is a swing and a miss by Payne. And the count will go on 1, and Schroeder got hit. And so Schroeder is down. And now Meeks and Keller going out to check on Schroeder as the trainer comes out. Schroeder, this would be devastating for the Pioneers if he's seriously injured. Schroeder still is down for right now. I'm assuming since Keller is playing first tonight, if Schroeder cannot continue, even though he is slowly getting up right now, it'd be probably Brody Bartenstein who would be filling in for him. Schroeder's now up on his knees. And it looks like Schroeder's probably going to be able to continue here. He just needs a bit of time to shake it off. And it looks like he will, as he is back on at least 1 foot here. Schroeder's putting his helmet back on, so he'll be good to go. So Schroeder will be all right. Looks like he's just going to shake it off and continue to play. 0-1 the count to Payne. 1 out here on the top of the 6th. Bases loaded for the Pilots, so this is a big at-bat. And Meeks and Schroeder are good now, and so Meeks will go back. Meeks on 1 to Payne. 1 out here on the top of the 6th. Bases loaded for the Pilots. Meeks needs an out. Strikeout would be preferred to keep the runners where they are. Double play is also available to get Meeks out of this jam. 0-1 the count. Meeks now will set, fire. That one is down low for ball 1. So the count will once again go aces wild. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here on the top of the 6th. Meeks needs it out here. Meeks 1-1. Well, now set, deal. That one is going to be in there. Called strike 2. And Payne not happy about it on a curveball from Meeks. That'll be a 1-2 count now. Meeks, this would be massive if he can get a strikeout right here. And then any out would end it for him. But he needs it here. 1-2. Meeks will set, deal. Swung on a popped up. That is shallow right. Bear will come under it. And the runners will stay where they are. So that is actually just as good, as that is a pop out by Payne to put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the 6th. And so now any out ends the inning for Meeks. And he's able to get out of the spaces loaded jam and keeps it at a 2-run ball game. And so now that'll bring up Michael Flaherty, the shortstop. However, this is going to be a tough out. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Singled in his first at-bat. RBI singled in his second at-bat. So this is a game-changing at-bat right here. Meeks now will set, deal. That is down low and away for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Flaherty. 2 outs here in the bottom, or excuse me, in the top of the 6th. Meeks 1-0. Well, now set, deal. That one is just outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Flaherty. Meeks needs a pitch here to get back in the count. If he walks Flaherty, that walks in a run for the Pilots. Meeks 2-0. Needs a strike. Will now set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. That was a strike right down Broadway. So the count will now go 2-1. And now Flaherty's going to have to battle here. He just took that one. 2-1 the count now. Pop out, any out would end the inning for Meeks and get him out of the spaces loaded jam. Meeks 2-1, will set, deal, swung on a driven left field side. That is foul, and that is just as good as a strike. And so the count will now even up at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Meeks can get his first strikeout of the night and get out of the top of the 6th inning with only giving up 1 run. So this is a massive opportunity for Meeks to end the top of the 6th. Meeks 2-2. Well, now set, fire, swing and a miss. He struck him out. That is the first strikeout of the ball game for Gardner Meeks, and he will get out of the top of the 6th inning with only 1 run given up. It is a 4-2 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 6th right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. Pioneers still lead at 4-2 as it is now the bottom of the 6th inning. A new pitcher on the mound for the Pilots. It'll be number 26, Josh Ferris, who will be relieving Angelo Deere here. Ferris has a 6.55 ERA in 6 appearances. He's only thrown 11 innings, giving up 15 hits, 11 runs, 8 of those earned, 6 walks, and has 4 strikeouts this season. And so now, leading off for the Pioneers here in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder, who RBI singled in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat. Smith, it'd be awesome if he can get a base hit here in order to get a leadoff runner on first for the Pioneers, who would, of course, love to get some more insurance runs for Gardner Meeks to work with in the top of the 7th. Ferris now will set deal. Bunt laid down by Smith, and it's a good one. Over to third. Payne misses it, and that will be a reach. I believe that's going to be a single for Smith, and it will. So that is a leadoff base hit single for Cooper Smith to put a runner on first with no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now that'll bring up number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Struck out in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat. Smith off first as Bear will come to the plate. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Pioneers looking to get some more insurance runs for Meeks. Ferris now will set deal. That is upstairs and inside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Bear. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Ferris 1-0 will set deal. Swung on a driven right field side. That is foul. And so the count will even up 1-1 to Bear. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th still. Cooper Smith still over there at first for the Pioneers. Ferris 1-1. Will now set, deliver. That is ball down low. And Smith is going to go to second as Boatman misses it. So 2-1 the count to Bear. Cooper Smith able to go to second as Boatman got away from him, and then he couldn't pick it up barehanded. So 2-1 the count to Bear. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and already a runner in scoring position in Cooper Smith off of second base. Ferris now 2-1. Well, that's set deal. Swung on a driven right at the second baseman, Loveland, who will grab it for a line out there. So that is one away here in the bottom of the 6th. On a line out by Bear, and I just got word that the second game of the doubleheader between Jamestown and Geneva has been canceled. So that is just a single game now, and Jamestown won it, which doesn't help the Pioneers, but the Pioneers can still take the number 1 spot in the standings if they win this game, considering Niagara has already beaten Batavia. So Pioneers are just 9 outs away from reclaiming the number 1 spot in the West Division standings. And it'll be number 14, Jake Keller at the plate. The first baseman grounded out twice in his first 2 at-bats. Ferris will set deal. That one is down low for ball 1. That one almost got away from Boatman as well. Boatman able to recover. 1-0 the count. Cooper Smith off of second base for the Pioneers. Ferris 1-0. We'll look over to Smith, and now we'll set deliver. That one is down low for ball 2. So 2-0 the count to Keller. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Ferris 2-0. We'll now look over to Smith off second. And now Smith is going to try and steal third. That is down low for ball 3. And once again, Boatman mishandles it and cannot make a throw. So 3-0 the count to Keller, and now Cooper Smith off of third for the Pioneers. Boatman has had some serious troubles handling the baseball behind the plate for the Pilots. That's like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen him just not been able to get a good grip barehanded. 3-0 the count to Keller. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Ferris 3-0 will set, deliver. That is upstairs, in there, just in there for called strike 1. So 3-1 the count now. Keller was about to throw his bat and walk down to first, but umpire said not so fast. 3-1 the count now to Keller. Ferris now will set fire. That one is in there. Called strike 2. So 3-2 the count now to Keller. Full count, so Keller might have to swing at this one. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Cooper Smith off third for the Pioneers. Infield all the way in for the Pilots, expecting a bunt. I don't think Keller is going to try. Ferris will set deal. That is down low. In there, called strike 3. Keller doesn't like the call. I don't like it either. I thought that was 2 down low. Well, that will be a strikeout for Ferris to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the 6th. And now that'll bring up number 2, Dom Presto, the shortstop. Hit by pitch in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and Cooper Smith off of third for the Pioneers. Presto looking for a base hit here to try and drive in Smith. Or if a ball just simply gets away from Boatman, that would also work. Ferris now will set deal. That is down low for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Presto. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Runner on third, and Cooper Smith for the Pioneers. Pioneers looking to extend their lead. Ferris 1-0. Well, now set, deliver, swung on a weakly, chopped over to second. Second baseman struggles with it for a moment, but he will throw to first in time. And that will be ground out by Presto to end the bottom of the 2nd inning. Unfortunately, Pioneers strand a runner on third and come up empty. However, they still lead at 4-2 as we go to the top of the 7th right after this.
All of the products we manufacture are designed right here, so we truly know the products we provide for you, inside and out. On top of being an industrial manufacturer, at the Hilliard Corporation we also serve as a weld shop and machine shop. We specialize in creating custom parts and pieces to fit particular and uncommon applications. The secondary location is the home of the drivetrain division, where products for Polaris and other vehicle manufacturers are made. This is a high-volume, celled manufacturing plant that produces thousands of parts daily. Over time, Hilliard's product line has diversified, but our company has stayed true to our Elmira roots. Today, Hilliard maintains its original location while continually expanding its motion control and filtration product lines in the Elmira area. Hilliard designs and manufactures for companies around the globe, occupying more than 500,000 square feet and employing about 500 people. Taking pride in serving the Elmira community for over a century, the Hilliard Corporation.
For more than a century, you've counted on Arnett Health. Counted on us to heal you, support you, encourage you, get you back on your feet. And for more than a century, Arnett has counted on you too. You're our community, our purpose, our passion. You're the reason we do what we do. Because giving our patients the best of ourselves is just who we are. Looking forward while embracing our legacy. Staying on the cutting edge while staying.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 7th inning here. Pioneers lead at 4-2. It'll still be Gardner Meeks out there for the Pioneers on the mound. And leading off this inning for the Pilots, it'll be number 12, Briggs Loveland, the second baseman. He flew out in his first at-bat, popped out in his second at-bat. Meeks able to pitch his way out of a bases-loaded jam at the top of the 6th, only giving up 1 run. And so now he'll look to go cleanly through this inning. He'll probably be out there for the rest of the ball game is my expectation for the Pioneers. Meeks now will set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Loveland. No outs here in the top of the 7th. Meeks nods his head. 0-1. And now we'll set, fire. Swing and a miss by Loveland. And the count quickly goes 0-2 now. Meeks looking for back-to-back strikeouts to put 1 out on the board here in the top of the 7th. Meeks 0-2. Well, now set, fire. That one is in there just upstairs for ball 1. So 1-2 the count to Loveland as he staves off the strikeout just barely. 1-2 the count to Loveland. Meeks now will set, deal, swing and a miss by Loveland. That is a strikeout for Gardner. Meeks back-to-back strikeouts make that, and that'll put one out on the board here in the top of the 7th. And now that'll bring up number 40, Tyler Walters, the extra hitter. Struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat. One out here in the top of the 7th. Meeks now will set deal. That one is down low and outside for ball 1. Walters wanted to swing at that pitch. He decided wisely not to. 1-0 the count. Meeks now will set, deliver. That one is in there. Called strike 1 on a curveball. Beautiful curveball. And the count will even up at aces wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Meeks now 1-1. Will set, deal. Swing and a miss by Walters on another curveball. And the count will go 1-2. 1-2 the count to Walters. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. As Walters will step out. And now step back in. 1-2 the count. Meeks making the looking to make it 3 in a row in terms of strikeouts for him. Meeks will set, deal. That one is in there just upstairs for ball 2. Meeks was walking off as if it was a strikeout. It was not. And that is going to be ball upstairs for ball 2. So 2-2 the count as it will even up to Walters. Meeks can still pick up his 3rd strikeout in a row here to put 2 outs on the board in the top of the 7th. Meeks 2-2. 1 out, set, deliver. That is going to be off of Walters' bat. It looks like off the top of it. Walters sort of stepped into that pitch. 2-2 the count. It will stay. Meeks can still pick it up here. 2-2. 1 out, set, fire. Swung on a weakly driven right field side. Walters just hacking at it to try and keep himself going. And he will that time. So still 2-2 the count to Walters. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Meeks 2-2. 1 out, set, fire, swung on it, popped up, skied into foul territory, left field side. Schroeder will catch it, and that will be 2 outs on the board here in the top of the 7th for Gardner Meeks. And so now we go back up top to the leadoff man, and number 25, Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder, popped out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat, flew out in his third at-bat. He's 0 for 3. Meeks looking to make him 0 for 4. And to end the top of the 7th inning here. It would be a 1-2-3 inning for Meeks if he can get DiMartino out. Meeks now will set, deal in. That one will be in there. Called strike 1. DiMartino tried to lay a bunt down. It did not work. 0-1 the count to DiMartino. I'm a little surprised that he's trying to go bunt tactics here with 2 outs and no runners on. 0-1 the count. Meeks will set, deliver. That is way outside for ball 1. So 1-1 the count to DiMartino. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. DiMartino will step back in. Meeks 1-1. 1 out, set, fire. That one is in there. Called strike 2. Meeks gets the call on an inside curveball. So 1-2 the count. Meeks looking to pick up his 3rd strikeout here in order to end the top of the 7th inning on this 1-2 count. Meeks now will set, fire. That is way outside for ball 2. He was trying to blow it by DiMartino. Just went too far outside. So the count will now even up to deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. DiMartino will step back in. Meeks shakes off 1 pitch. And now we'll set, deliver, swing and a miss. He struck him out. That is the 3rd strikeout for Gardner Meeks, and that will end the top of the 7th inning. No runs for the Pilots in the top of the 7th. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Pioneers still lead it 4-2. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here. Pioneers lead at 4-2 over the Pilots. Leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be number 40, Nick Montagna, the extra hitter. He reached on a fielder's choice in his first at-bat, struck out in his second at-bat. This will be his first time facing Ferris, who is still on the mound for the Pilots. Ferris now will set, deal, swung on a skied immediately by Montagna. First baseman Ferrara coming under, and he will make the play. And so that will be one away on a one-pitch fly out, or excuse me, I should say pop out by Montagna. So now one out here in the bottom of the 7th, and now that'll bring up number 42, Spencer Aubin, the left fielder, who's 0 for 2 tonight with 2 strikeouts. He's looking to change his fortunes here against Ferris. He's only faced Deere so far, who is the starter for the Pilots. One out here in the bottom of the 7th. Ferris now will set, deal, swung on a driven right field side. That is foul and out of play. So the count will go 0-1 to Aubin. One out here in the bottom of the 7th. Ferris 0-1 as Aubin will step back in here. Ferris will set, deal, swung on a driven into right center. And it'll be Goodness coming under, and he will make the play and right, and that will be 2 away. So 2 quick outs for Ferris here in the bottom of the 7th. And now that'll bring up number 88, Joseph Kelson, the designated hitter tonight. Struck out in his first at-bat, singled in his second at-bat. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be the top of the order, and Noss up after him if Kelson can get on again. Ferris now will set, deal. That one is in there, called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Kelson. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Ferris will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Kelson. And the count quickly goes 0-2 now. 0-2 the count to Kelson. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Ferris 0-2. Will now set, fire, swing and a miss by Kelson. He goes down swinging. That is the second strikeout for Ferris, and that will end the bottom of the 7th inning. It was a 1-2-3 inning for Ferris. And so we go to the top of the 8th inning. However, the Pioneers still lead at 4-2. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 8th inning here. Pioneers still lead at 4-2 over the Pilots. It'll still be Gardner Meeks out there for the Pioneers to start the top of the 8th. Like I said before, I think Meeks is going to go all the way. Meeks is 6 outs away from sending the Pioneers to the #1 spot in the Western Division standings. As I mentioned before, Batavia lost to Niagara again today. And so if the Pioneers hold on and win, they will take over the #1 spot in the West Division. And so now that I'm leading off this inning in the top of the 8th against Meeks, it'll be number 2, Paulie Goodness, the right fielder. Struck out in his first at-bat, singled in his second at-bat, or excuse me, walked in his second at-bat, reached on an error in his third at-bat. That is ball 1 for Meeks. So 1-0 the count to Goodness. No outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks 1-0. Will now set, deliver. That one is in there. Called strike 1. So 1-1 the count out of Goodness. As the count will even up. No outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks now will set fire. That one is just down low and inside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count now to Goodness. No outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks will set fire. Swung on, popped up into shallow left. Aubin and presto. Aubin will come in on it and make the play. So that will be one away here in the top of the 8th on a fly out by Goodness. Aubin and presto. I was a little concerned there for a moment that they might collide. Luckily, Aubin called it off. So now that'll bring up number 10, Justin DiMartino, the left fielder. Hit by a pitch in his first at-bat, struck out in his second at-bat, singled in his third at-bat. One out here in the top of the 8th. Meeks now will set, deal, swung on and driven right field side. That is foul and out of play, and the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to DiMartino, one out here in the top of the 8th. Meeks 0-1. Will set, deliver, swung on a driven left field side this time, and it is also foul. So 0-2 the count quickly to DiMartino. Meeks looking to pick up his 4th strikeout here and to put 2 outs on the board in the top of the 8th. Meeks 0-2. Well, now set, deal. That one is upstairs for ball 1. So 1-2 the count to DiMartino. One out here in the top of the 8th. Meeks still 1-2. Newark clapping in their dugout. Meeks will set, deal. That one is just down low and outside for ball 2. Newark getting chirpy here. Awfully chirpy. They're reminding me of Auburn, who is also very chirpy every time they come here to Dunfield. 2-2. Meeks will now set, deal. Swung on a driven right field side. That is foul. And so the count will stay 2-2 to DiMartino. I'm hoping Meeks can get the strikeout here just to silence the Pilots in the dugout. Getting awfully cocky. Meeks 2-2. Looking for the strikeout to silence the dugout. Meeks now will set, deliver, swing and a miss. He struck him out. That is the 4th strikeout of the night for Gardner Meeks. That will put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the 8th, and that should silence those Pilots clapping in the dugout. So 2 outs here now in the top of the 8th, and now that'll bring up number 7, Jack Arcamone, the designated hitter. Walked in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat, reached on a fielder's choice in his third at-bat, and now the manager is talking with the umpire here. I don't know what they're arguing about. Well, they both step away without looking like they're giving any ejections. I think that was a warning. And Meeks is now having a discussion with the umpire. I don't know what he's doing about. Meeks is now getting a talking to with him. And so now it looks like it was the chatter in the dugout. I don't know whether Meeks said anything over the dugout's way when I wasn't looking when he struck him out. But I honestly think that Meeks has silenced the dugout, at least for now. So now that'll bring up Arcamone. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks 1 out away from ending this top of the 8th inning. Meeks now will set, deal. That one is upstairs and outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Arcamone. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. And the dugout continues to chirp. And they're just talking smack now. 1-0, Meeks will set, deal, swung on it, driven. That is fair. Meeks will field it, and he will throw to first, not in time. As Arcamone will reach, and the dugout continues to chirp. And so that is going to be a base hit for Arcamone. A single. And now that'll bring up number 9, Gage Bowman, the catcher. With 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Dugout continues to chirp at Meeks. Bowman struck out in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat, or excuse me, doubled in his second at-bat, and then it reached on an error in his third at-bat. Meeks 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Any out ends the inning for Meeks. Preferably a strikeout just to once again silence the dugout. That'd be nice. Meeks now will set, deal. That is outside ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Bowman. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks 1-0. Well, now set, deal. That is in there. Called strike 1 and a throw to first is not quite in time. It was a great throw by Schroeder, and Keller did put a tag down, but Arcamone able to get back. So the count will go 1-1 to Boatman here. 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Dugout continuing to chirp. The Pilots are just pouring it on. 1-1. Meeks will set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 2. Boatman got frozen on the curveball. So 1-2 the count now to Boatman. Meeks looking for the strikeout. It would be his 5th of the ball game, not only to end the top of the 8th, but to finally put a cork in that dugout. Meeks 1-2. Well, now set deal. That is just upstairs and outside for ball 2. So the count will now even up to deuces wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. 2 Boatman in the top of the 8th. Meeks still looking for the strikeout to silence that dugout and to end the top of the 8th inning. Meeks 2-2 will set, deliver. That's going to be a hit by pitch as it hit him square in the back. And so that'll be a hit by pitch. And so now Boatman will go to first. Runners on first and second now for the Pilots with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks still any out will end the inning for him. And now head coach Drum is going to have a talking to with Meeks here. It'll be number 24, Chris Farrar, the first baseman, who will be up at the plate after this conversation. Looks like number 23, Eric Burkhan, is warming in the bullpen for the Pioneers. I don't know that he's going to get any time. Maybe he'll come into the top of the 9th, but still, the way Meeks is dealing right now, even with 2 runners on, I still like Meeks in this situation. I think Burkham might come in at the top of the 9th. I don't know. We'll have to see what Coach Drum decides. It's ultimately his decision. I'm just speculating. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th, and Ferrara coming to the plate. Grounded out in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat, walked in his third at-bat, and the Meeks is still on the mound for right now. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Runners on first and second for the Pilots. Meeks now will set deal. That one is upstairs, ball 1. So 1-0 count to Ferrara. That dugout continues to chirp. Meeks 1-0. Well, now look over to Arcamone off second. Meeks 1-0. Well, now set deal. That one is in there. Called strike 1. So 1-1 the count now as it evens up to Ferrara. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. We have not seen the Pioneers and the Pilots this chirpy before. The only time we've seen it this season was with Auburn. Auburn, every time they came here, they started to talk smack. Meeks 1-1 will set deal. That is upstairs and inside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Ferrara. Now the dugout's getting into it. So 2-1 the count to Ferrara. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Meeks looking for any out, but preferably a strikeout because that will definitely silence the boys in the dugout for the Pilots. Meeks will set deal. Swung on a pop back about 5 feet right of my window. So Meeks will have his chance here. 2-2 the count to Ferrara. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th, so deuces wild here. Meeks looking for his 5th strikeout to end the top of the 8th and to silence that Pilots dugout. Meeks 2-2. Well, now set deal. Swung on a popped up. That should do it as Bear will come in on it, and he will make the play. And so that will end the top of the 8th inning. Not a strikeout, but a pop out. No runs for the Pilots in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Pioneers still lead at 4-2. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. I have a bit of news. So I've just been informed not only if the Pioneers win this ball game, will they go to first place in the West Division standings, they will also lock up a home playoff game, which means they are guaranteed at least the second seed for the playoffs. That is, of course, unless Jamestown makes up that game against Geneva. However, with only 3 days left in the season, that is very unlikely and very difficult for Jamestown to do. So that means that, in all likelihood, if the Pioneers win this one, they're guaranteed at least one home playoff game. And if they win a couple more games, they can have home field advantage for the entire playoffs, as they'll be at least to first place after this ball game if they win it, and they'll be guaranteed a home playoff game. As now, leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be the top of their order. Number 33, Kevin Noss, the center fielder, struck out in his first at-bat, singled in his second at-bat, flew out in his third at-bat. Ferris still on the mound for the Pilots. Ferris now will set, deal, swung on a driven into left center, and a left fielder, Justin DiMartino, will go back and make the play. A well-hit ball by Noss, but just simply not to the right place. And so that'll put one out here in the bottom of the 8th. And now that'll bring up number 77, Joe Musio, the third baseman. Walked in his first at-bat, reached by an error in the second at-bat, and then 2-run home run in his third at-bat to break his hitless streak. And to give the Pioneers 4 runs. Now it's back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Musio did that. He'll be stepping up to the plate here with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. We have never seen a Pioneer hit 2 home runs in the same game. Musio technically has an opportunity here in this at-bat to do that. Ferris now will set, deal. That is inside, ball 1. Musio had to lean back out of the way of that one. He was doing some limbo. 1-0 the count to Musio. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris 1-0 will set, deal. That is in there. Called strike 1. So 1-1 the count now as it evens up. It actually evens up at aces wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris now will set, deal, swung on a skied. And that should be a fly out as Payne is calling for it, and he will make the play. And so that will be a fly out for Musio to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the 8th. And now that'll bring up number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Walked in his first at-bat, popped out in his second at-bat, and struck out in his third at-bat. Ferris now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris now will set, deal, swung on a driven to right field side and foul, so the count will go 0-1 to Schroeder. Two outs here in the bottom of the 8th as Schroeder will step back in here. Ferris now will set, deliver, swung on a driven right field side again by Schroeder, almost the exact same spot. And so the count will go 0-2 to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris looking for what would be his 3rd strikeout to end the bottom of the 8th inning. Ferris 0-2. Will now set, deliver, that is outside, ball 1. Umpire scared me there a moment. It looked like he was going to call strike 3. He didn't. So 1-2 the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris now will set, deliver, swung on a driven right field side, foul again. Schroeder fouls it off and keeps himself alive. Still 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. One and two the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris now will set, deliver. That is going to be inside and down low for ball 2. So the count now will even up at Deuces Wild here. And Newark's dugout is once again back to chirping as they normally are. Deuces Wild, the count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ferris will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Schroeder. He just missed it and he knew it too. That'll be a strikeout by Schroeder to end the bottom of the 8th inning. We go to the top of the 9th. Newark will be down to their last 3 outs. Pioneers will be 3 outs away from a guaranteed home playoff game and from first place in the West Division standings right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It'll be the top of the 9th inning here. Pioneers 3 outs away from a guaranteed home playoff game. And from first place in the West Division standings, it'll still be Gardner Meeks out there for the Pioneers in the top of the 9th. He needs 3 outs to win the ball game. And for Newark, it'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for them. It'll be Payne, Flaherty, and Loveland who will be the last 3 outs for Newark. Leading off, it'll be number 29, Nick Payne, the third baseman. Struck out in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat, popped out in his third at-bat. Meeks now. I'll be stepping on here to face Payne. Last time, Payne popped out against Meeks in his third at-bat. Meeks now will set, deliver. That one is in there. Called strike one right down Broadway. Count goes 0-1 to Payne. No outs here in the top of the 9th. Meeks 0-1. Well, now set, deal, swung on a driven into left. Aubin is standing, come under, and it makes the play, and that will be one away. 2 outs remaining for Meeks to end the ball game and give the Pioneers a home playoff game and to put them back into first place in the West Division standings. There's a lot of implications with this game, like I said at the very beginning. There's a lot of stuff this game can mean. Meeks 2 outs away from making it all happen. And now that'll bring up number 20, Michael Flaherty, the shortstop. Singled in his first at-bat, RBI, singled in his second at-bat, struck out in his third at-bat. That is ball 1 down low from Meeks. So 1-0 the count. Meeks 1-0. Well, now set, deal. That one is in there. Called strike one right down Broadway again. So the count will now even up at aces while 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Meeks now 1-1. Well, now set, deal. That is outside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count now to Flaherty as he will take the lead. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Meeks 2-1. Well, now set, deliver. That one is in there. Called strike 2. Flaherty not happy about it. The Newark dugout isn't happy about it. Well, the call will stand. The count will even up at 2-2 to Flaherty. Meeks can pick up what would be his 5th strike of the ball game here to put 2 outs on the board. Meeks 2-2. We'll now wait as Flaherty is granted time. 2-2 the count. Flaherty will step back in. Meeks looking for his 5th strikeout. Meeks now will set, deliver. That one is down low for ball 3. So the count will go full now to Flaherty. 3-2 the count. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. And the Newark dugout still chirping away. Meeks 3-2 will set, deal. Swung on a pop back. About 5 feet right of my window. So the count will stay 3-2. 1 out here still in the top of the 9th. Meeks still looking for that 5th strikeout. Let's go Pios chant going here, done. Meeks 3-2 will set, deliver, swung on a popped up. That, as Keller is coming in on it, he will make the play, and that will be 2 away now. Meeks 1 out away from a guaranteed home playoff game and from first place in the West Division standings. And now that'll bring up number 12, Briggs Loveland, the second baseman. Flew out in his first at-bat, popped out in his second at-bat, struck out in his third at-bat. He will be the last out for Newark. Meeks now. Well, now set, deal, swung on a popped up left field side. That is foul and out of play. So the count will go 0-1 to Loveland here. 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Meeks 2 strikes away. Meeks 0-1. He will now set, deal. That one is just down low and outside for ball 1. So 1-1 the count to Loveland. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Meeks still 2 strikes away. Meeks 1-1. Collapse going here at Dunn. Meeks will set deal. Swung on a driven. That's a base hit in the left. And that will extend the game as Flaherty singles in the left. And so now that'll bring on number 40, Tyler Walters, the extra hitter. Struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat, popped out in his third at-bat. Still, any out will end the ball game for Meeks and give the Pioneers a home playoff game and the number 1 place in the West Division standings. Meeks now, Flaherty off first. Meeks now will set, deal. That one is down low and outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Walters here. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Meeks 1-0 will set, deal. That is upstairs for ball 2. So 2-0 the count to Walters. Meeks needs to find the strike zone here. Does not want to walk on the game-tying run. Walters is the tying run at the plate. So Meeks just needs one more out. Meeks 2-0 will set, deal. That one is in there. Cold strike 1. So 2-1 the count now to Walters. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Meeks once again 2 strikes away. It is still Flaherty off first. Meeks 2-1 will now set, deliver. That one is in there. Down low for ball. They're going to say, I believe that is ball 3. So yes, it is 3-1. And Flaherty was able to steal second. So Flaherty now at second base. 3-1 the count to Walters. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Makes 3-1. Well, now set, deal. That one is just down low and outside for ball 4. So that'll be a walk for Walters to put the tying run in play at first base for the Pilots. And so now still 2 outs here in the top of the 9th, and now Meeks is going to have a word with Schroeder. But still, any out ends the ball game for Meeks, gives the Pioneers a home playoff game and first place in the West Division standings. Meeks now and Schroeder and Keller going over things. Looks like things have been sorted out. Schroeder's going back. Keller's going back. And so now Meeks still 2 outs here. Runners on first and second for the Pilots. Tying run is at first. So Meeks does have to be a little careful. He just needs 1 out. Any out ends the ball game. Meeks now. It'll be Frankie DiMartino at the plate as he immediately skies one. Schroeder going for it, and he will make the play, and that will end the ball game. Pioneers win it. Pioneers win it 4-2 the final. And the Pioneers are not only first place in the West Division standings, they have guaranteed a home playoff game. What a game for the Pioneers. They've done it. They got the help that they needed from Niagara. Batavius slipping at just the right time. And now, looking at the schedule, they'll be on the road tomorrow before finishing out their home schedule for the regular season versus Newark. And now, the 28th will be guaranteed not the last playoff, or not the last game here at Dunn Field for the 2023 season. There will be a guaranteed playoff game here at Dunn Field. And then they'll be finishing out the regular season on the road on the 29th at Auburn. What a game for the Pioneers. They win it 4-2 the final. Until tomorrow at Auburn, I am Alex Chipperud, and I will see you all